really is not pulling any punches there. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that Ben, I thought that might strike a chord with you.
Yeah, I do my very best to be a good human, John, and I don't revel in the demise of anyone. But when you consider the amount of people who died because of the kind of advice they got from people like Phil Valentine, one of the radio hosts that died, he wrote a book called The Conservative's Handbook, and I had a chance to read it. Smart guy, wrong side of the equation, and I can't believe that he believed his own BS enough to die from it. I feel for their families, but I am not upset that level of ignorance is no longer on the air.
Yeah, I try to be a good person too. I try to show that you can be an atheist and you can still live a life that's is driven by empathy and curiosity and all that blah blah blah. But I hate the effect that they almost certainly had on their audience before they passed. Now, look, I will give some credit to the ones who publicly in their final days turned and said, I should have taken it seriously. But the reason I give them that credit is because not every one of them has. Some have gone to their grave with their friends and families saying, no, they still thought that this was made up, that COVID's not a real thing. That's madness to me. And I might feel a little bit bad even for them, like they're influencers to a certain extent, but they can still be influenced. If they actually didn't get vaccinated, they clearly were misinformed by others, but that said, they still have a responsibility to their audience. All of us, no matter the size of our platform, if we are advocating for something or advocating against something, we are responsible for those that we persuade. But he's not having it, Howard Stern.
Not at all.
So it'll be interesting to see what else he has to say about that. Any other thoughts about Howard Stern? Do you think that it might get through to anyone? Might encourage anyone in like the New York area? And I know he has a very broad reach to get vaccinated.
I certainly believe so. I certainly hope so. And I hope he does it every day until this pandemic is over.
Yeah, I hope so too. Look, I still maintain some stupid naive hope that Joe Rogan will take it seriously. I thought that maybe he wouldn't pull a Trump, get COVID and come out of it even more, sure that ivermectin saved him or whatever. But unfortunately, that's the direction he's going in. I get there are people who are nothing but contrarians effectively, and so you got to moderate your expectations. But there's still time, perhaps, and the stakes are very high. A lot of lives could be saved if he were to take it seriously. Anyway, Ben, as always, it is a pleasure to have you on. You know what else is a pleasure? Your goddamn show. So where can people watch it?
They can watch it on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere we're streaming. The Benjamin Dixon Show. We're live every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awesome. I don't expect the West Coast to wake up with us, but we thank you anyway.
Well, we'll see. And I know you've done 1 million hours already today, and you probably have to deal with the homeschooling thing after. So Thank you for taking the time out for us, and try to have a good day.
Pleasure's mine. I'm trying to get out of here before this camera goes off again. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Bye, man. And for those of you at home, thank you so much. APOW just sent in a super chat with no message, but thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Let's see. Thank you. Let's see. Blue Lizard Gut says there's going to be an entire generation of humans who have serious health issues and know that their parents deliberately endangered them and caused it. What kind of intergenerational relationships will that foster? There's going to be a lot of anger, and rightfully so. Totally. We didn't actually get to it in our first block, but a lot of doctors were saying like it's not just about the fact that kids are now dying and are going to the hospitals. We have no idea what long-term impact they'll have from long COVID. So perhaps together we'll see over the next few decades. In any event, thank you everyone for watching the show. Hope that you enjoyed it. There's more coming up though. Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie and Ben Carollo will be coming up in just a little bit, so definitely stay tuned for that. Also, today's a Thursday, which makes tomorrow a Friday, and we have to take out some trash. So if you can help us in that by going to the community tab at youtube.com/The Damage Report, you can vote for the garbage person of the week. We'll be giving you the results tomorrow when Brett Ehrlich joins me. But until then, stay safe out there, stay sane out there, and we'll see you soon.
Welcome. It's Indisputable. Good to be with you. We got a lot on the agenda. I'm your host, Rashad Ritchie. Listen, we have an interesting bullpen guest today who is going to debate me. Now, this is what he wanted to do. He's going to debate me on why Larry Elder is the best candidate to become governor of California. None other than Joe Collins III. We've had Mr. Collins on the program before. He is also running as a Republican for the congressional district seat now held by Maxine Waters. Also breaking down news of the day. We got my big homie Ben Carollo, host of Galaxy Brain and Bleep Blop. Ben, writer and TYT contributor. Top story of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you to Newton County, Georgia, where a school teacher decided to sit on a desk and tell her students that it is okay for her, obviously, to say the N-word, and then she provides context for when she should be able to use the N-word. Here it is.
I date a black guy. Okay. Then I can say no, because I got
Producers, I want you to get ready. We're gonna play that one more time. All right, here it is.
I date a black guy. Okay. Then I can say no, because I got
Okay, you see, she actually recently won Teacher of the Year. This educator is now suspended. Let me give you background to this insane story, okay? An art teacher in Alcovy High School is now off the job after students say she used the N-word in the classroom. Well, you don't say. It gets deeper. Students say the teacher, seen sitting on a desk, posed them a question of when it's okay to use the N-word. Now remember, she's the art teacher. This has absolutely nothing to do with the curriculum. It is not in some kind of proper context. They are not doing an assignment. She just decides to sit on a desk and I guess become one of the students. I don't know what that was about. It was ridiculous, right? Let me just say this. I don't know what's happening out here, but is this a thing where there are some white people, I know not most and definitely not all, but some, who are just trying to get away with saying the N-word? She's talking to children. She's at her job. She's a school teacher. And she has this Teacher of the Year award in her background. Here's what she said. Say I date a black guy. Now she's trying to provide context here for her art students, okay? Well, say I date a black guy. Then I can say N-word. The students replied, no, in unison. She continues, cause I got an N-word. The teacher, who school officials identified as Alexandria Boyington, let's put up a picture if we have one. Okay, we'll put it in post. She is a white female, as you can see. Named Teacher of the Year 2 years ago. She has now been banned from the classroom as the district investigates. Students were outraged by this. A couple of students went on record with the local news team. One student said, there was no reason for her to say that. When I saw the video, I was disappointed because as a teacher, you are supposed to keep your profession and just keep your composure. She shouldn't even be suspended. She should be fired. Ben, what are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, it's wild how much this comes up, right? Like I remember literally being a child watching Jon Stewart, right, when I was like 13 years old, and they were making a mockery of white people that were trying to like make excuses, singing rap lyrics, right? Mm-hmm. We are 20 years later now, 10 years later, and this is still happening where you have this grown adult white woman go to children, literal children, and just unprompted ask them when it's appropriate for her to say the N-word. Like, and I mean, honestly, kudos to the class, kudos to the children. Like even as children, they understand never appropriate, never okay. They like, and they couldn't even, they bust up laughing in that video because of like how unbelievably absurd it was that there's a grown adult in this year 2021 that has any uncertainty about whether or not as a white person they can say the N-word. And it's funny that this literally is happening. Last week we talked about Dog the Bounty Hunter trying to do the same thing.
Exact same thing. Provide context, excuse, yeah. Quite interesting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's a woman who was late to a flight. It happens. People are late. We've been late before, but she decided to allegedly make a false bomb threat because she was late catching her flight. Let's put up her picture. Now, this happened in Florida. I can't blame Florida for this one because the woman is actually from Chicago, but there's a lot of crazy coming out of Florida lately. Maybe the Florida water got to her. So this happened in Florida. Chicago woman allegedly made a false bomb threat at the Florida airport after arriving late to her flight. Her name is Marina Verbitsky, 46 years of age. She is accused of telling airport employees that a bomb was in her checked luggage bag after arriving to the gate late. So here's the background. This woman, this young lady, she got there late. She arrived with her husband and child at the gate, late for the family's flight out of Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. That was on Monday night. She became very angry because they were not allowed to board the plane. A Broward County Sheriff's deputy wrote in an arrest report obtained by Fox News. She was using profanities toward the employees, and when she was notified the plane was taxiing, leaving to the runway with her checked luggage, she stated, "There's a bomb in the luggage." Well, she found out that was a horrible idea. The plane, which was already on the runway, had to reroute, and all the passengers were evacuated so that the sheriff's office threat management unit could inspect the plane. Deputies determined that the threat was unfounded. After an inspection, Verbitsky is facing 1 count of false reporting concerning planning a bomb, explosive, or weapon of mass destruction. Now, I just want to put this in context. The woman was running late. Her husband was there. Your party is late, madam. You're going to have to book another flight. She yells, "Uh-oh, well, actually, there's a bomb in my checked-in luggage. You got to do something about that." So in her mind, I assume she thinks that the plane is going to say, well, let's stop right now and pick up this woman who just told us that she has a bomb. And let's make sure she gets on the plane and flies, because obviously if we do not do this, she's going to detonate the bomb that she said is in her checked in luggage. I don't understand the logic here. So now when somebody does a background, let's say she goes for employment, they're going to see that she was charged with 1 count of false reporting concerning planting a bomb, explosive, or weapon of mass destruction. That may be a no-no on a job application. Ben, what are your thoughts, man?
I mean, this is really a microcosm of what's going on across the country today, right? Where you've got these people who they take something as a mild inconvenience, something like wearing a mask or getting vaccinated, right? And they literally turn it into this international crisis where they're gonna literally put other people at risk because they don't want to be personally inconvenienced. She made everybody else late. She made everybody else late because she couldn't show up to a flight on time, right? She lost out on what, $200, $600 if it was an expensive flight. And that was worth to her making everybody else late, ruining everybody's day, and getting what I assume are felony charges.
Well, right now, the attempted, I think, is a misdemeanor. But still, man, who in the hell wants something like that? You know what I mean? All right, adverse to what she was trying to accomplish because she could not think of anyone but herself in the moment. For my next story, I have to remind people, lack of personal responsibility is a hell of a drug, okay? This is a sad story of a drunk couple who ran over a woman's dog with an electric scooter. Here's the confrontation after the woman had to chase them down. Here's what the guy involved said.
They ran my dog over with a scooter, got up and left, and I chased them down. And this is what he had to say.
Oh, come on, your goddamn dog. Where's your dog?
My dog right there. No, no.
And his girlfriend knew she was wrong, and they are drunk.
Leave Abby. No. You can if you want to, but these people not leaving. I'm calling the police. No. Man, y'all ran my dog over. No. That was yes, what you mean though.
Okay, so here's the thing. He's lying. They did run her dog over. The woman that you see there, she's just in shock because literally they have just been caught. This woman had to chase them down. Now we have the video of the security footage that shows clearly what this couple actually did. Now remember, the guy said this never happened. We didn't do it. We're leaving, okay? That's what his proclamation was. That was his defense. According to the hashtag associated with this post, all of this happened in Cleveland, all right? So let's go directly to the actual security footage that shows what happened. All right, there's no sound on the security footage, but you can clearly see this disaster happening. Yeah. And remember, he denies ever doing any of it. Says it never happened. Ran away. Yeah. The dog, the pet, did suffer some injuries, okay? As a matter of fact, let's go to that video. She highlighted some of the injuries that her beloved pet did go through. Now remember, she chased them down. Here it is.
Was going for a walk, and next thing you know, we was just minding our business. Next thing you know, they just came up in between me and my dog. Her leash ended up hanging onto the scooter. They ran her over, fell on top of her and everything. Look at my baby head. She split. I ended up taking her to the hospital. She's okay, but she do have to take antibiotics. They shaved the top of her head, and the man said that he didn't run over no dog. So,
all right, now here's the thing. When this couple ran over the dog, they, number one, were operating the scooter illegally, according to the narrative. At least one of them, if not both, had been drinking. But what happened was an accident. What they did after that was not take personal responsibility. As a matter of fact, the woman, the young lady, said, I was trying to get help from them as they were trying to flee, all right? I don't know how this woman caught them, but she caught them, all right? Ben, this is a PSA about being responsible because you never know who's watching, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's just like, it wouldn't have taken much for them to apologize, right? Luckily, the dog is okay and just had to go to the dog hospital, right? Like, so they should have stuck around and offered to pay the dog hospital bills. And, like maybe there's an argument to be had about it being irresponsible to be cruising around in those like electric scooters and stuff while you're drinking. I mean, I'm pretty careful in that regard, so I usually just stay at home. But like ultimately, if you're in a situation where you're potentially putting other people at risk and you harm somebody's dog, I mean, dogs are they're precious creatures. They're sweet, innocent creatures. They didn't hurt anybody, and like to not be able to just own up and say that you made a mistake and that like it's Like, I don't know, because I feel like this ties in the last story that we talked about, where people are just becoming so selfish, where they're just rejecting any sort of like social responsibility,
Yeah, and this was done, broad daylight, is out in the open. You obviously injured this poor pet, and I'm a pet guy. I used to rescue cats until my schedule just got too insane, right? And I've had some amazing canines in my life. And when you have that connection with your pet, when you have that connection with your dog, cat, whatever it may be, right? They're in your home, you feed them, hell. Sometimes they start looking like you feed them so much and spend so much time with them. That becomes an extension of your family. And so I can imagine the strength she got when these folks ran away after hitting her baby, you know what I mean? As she was able to catch up with them. And even in that moment when she caught up with them, Ben, the guy is still denying it. It seems like his girlfriend, whoever she may be, she's caught in the middle. But listen, this is not a moral dilemma here, all right? You messed up, he messed up. Y'all should not have been doing what you were doing on the scooter in the first place, and you got into an accident. Damn, just take care of what you need to take care of. And really, I think the woman just wanted acknowledgement and maybe a little assistance to care for her pet, and that's it. Yeah, shameful.
Yeah.
All right, we got more on the other side. Is Indisputable. Stick and stay.
So a lot of progressive office holders are doing something fun. I like fun. They're doing the last 2 years in 2 minutes. Okay, we're gonna try it here. First, I wanna let you guys know about the years before that. Hey, remember we started the Just Democrats here on the Young Turks. It was officially launched on our air, basically by you guys. And then we featured AOC, we featured Cori Bush, and Ro Khanna became the first ever Just Democrat incumbent, all on the Young Turks. Now, the last 2 years have been a spectacular follow-up to that. So let's put the 2 minutes on the clock and do this. Young Turks got to start back in 2002, and I think we've been an important part of the progressive movement ever since. What we mainly do is amplify the progressive voice and candidates out there, and I think we've done a pretty good job. Right now, we're currently #1 most engaged news politics network online, beating CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC, all of them. We're #1 in total minutes watched. That means not only the number of people watching, but how long they watch. We just crossed 20 million followers and 500 million monthly views. Now, why? That's because actually the country's progressive. It's 2/3 progressive. And you guys have allowed us to be your voice, and we're incredibly thankful for that. So what did we do with that voice? Well, let's look at 2019. We went all over the country talking to you guys and the candidates. So we were in Miami, we were in Detroit, we were in Houston, and we were in Iowa. In fact, we were all over Iowa. You guys were all over Iowa, and all of the candidates saw you guys. We had wonderful people speaking, like the one and only Nina Turner at our rallies. Bernie Sanders stopped by, Andrew Yang, Elizabeth Warren. We interviewed almost everyone on the campaign trail, with the exception of Biden and Buttigieg. And we held them accountable. We even did a progressive economic pledge, and so many wonderful people signed on to that. Bernie Sanders, Warren, Marianne Williamson, AOC, the entire squad, Justice Democrats, and so many others. Now, on top of all that, we started a show called The Conversation, where we featured so many progressive thinkers, writers, and candidates. And one of the candidates we featured in 2019 was Jamal Bowman. Here comes Jamal Bowman. Then we had an amazing 2020. We hired a climate reporter. Damage Report passed 500,000 subscribers. Young Turks passed 5 million subscribers. We're getting the message out to more and more people. Bernie Sanders comes on in the heat of the primary. He comes on after the election to say what we're gonna do for the future. And then Marie Newman wins. Jamal Bowman wins. Cori Bush wins. And then just when you thought it couldn't get any better, here comes Nina Turner. Hello, somebody. And she's running for Congress, and she comes on the Young Turks first. On election week, we had nearly 2 million hours of viewing. We're #1 destination for progressives. You made all that happen. This is amazing, and thank you for those 2 years. What, I went past 2 minutes? Of course!
Viewers had asked for an interview with the TYT lizard. Mr. Lizard. Oh, you changed colors today. Nice. I don't even know how you feel about us. Do you even like us?
Well, you guys made me this awesome house, so I'm kind of in your debt. I was found outside on the street, and you gave me a home. Granted, it was a really crappy home for a while, but then through the power of fundraising, I became a person who has a multi-level Trump-style mansion.
You do. By the way, you never looked better, man. Normally, you're just green or just brown, but today you're in mid-lizard, right?
I'm not very smart. I'm a lizard, so I don't know how the science works. I guess this is just my mood. It's not every day that thresholds like this are broken. I'm just so excited. I can't contain my pigmentation.
And now you're showing it off.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never seen the lizard like this before.
All right, welcome back. Good to be with you. We got a lot of comments. Before I go to those comments, let me remind you, if you're watching my show right now, Indisputable, TYT, on TDR, the Damage Reports YouTube page. You know what that means? That means that on September 13th, you will not be able to watch me there, okay? So make sure you make the switch now. On Indisputable TYT, go to the YouTube page and subscribe. It's free and it's easy, right? Indisputable TYT, youtube.com/indisputable TYT. Don't miss I Wish a Karen Would or the Bullpen or anything else, all right? If you've already subscribed, remember your homework this week is to get 5 of your friends to subscribe as well. Or maybe 5 of your enemies so I can drive them crazy, all right? Good stuff. The conversation live today, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. That's before the Young Turks. Make sure you watch and you can go to tyt.com/live for that. Also subscribe, watch all the interviews at youtube.com/TYT conversation. And right after Indisputable, we got my sister, Ray Actions with Rayvana, Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific time. That is a Twitch exclusive. Twitch.tv/TYT. All beautiful stuff. Okay, let's go to these comments. TYT member I Am Sock says petition to call the Indisputables the Dungeon Squad so we can have the Dungeon and Dragon squads. So granted. All right, Kelly O'Hara. Hashtag Cold Feet Larry walks in Venice like he owns the place. Don't he look so silly with that egg upon his face? Did you see him running? Yeah, his nerves must be so twitchy. No, it's not a ghost you see. It's just good Dr. Richie. Bars, love it. And listen, let me say thank you to everyone, Kelly included, because when I told y'all to troll Larry Elder, damn, y'all trolled the hell out of that man yesterday, okay? All right, do it again today, because he has not responded yet. Mickey C, the silver-haired dragon. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. How was the dog? To do something that horrendous and just run away is despicable. To run over an animal and not stop to see if it's okay shows a total lack of heart and soul. I hope he gets arrested for drunk driving and leaving the scene disgusting. It really was. And listen, he found the right one. I mean, that is a real mother, all right? He found the right one. So I would expect there to be an update, we'll follow it. Super chat, YouTube. Forbesilla, thank you. Did Larry respond to you, Doc? We blew up Twitter. Y'all absolutely blew up Twitter. And Larry has not responded. But listen, let's keep hope alive, okay? All right. Also, between Ben Dixon on TDR and Ben Carollo, it really is Thirsty Thursday. That's awesome. Yeah, Ben's dope for sure. Both of them. Charles Lee Joseph Massey III. It's me and my Irish twin sister's birthday today, and we all have to say to the art teacher Karen, you about to lose your job. Yeah, that's true. It's a ridiculous way to lose a job, but there it is. Pharaoh Dragon, people are not becoming more callous. We are actually becoming more sensitive. We now call all this crap out, not just shaking my head and take what is thrown at us. Interesting. Mike V, would it be possible to get Vivek Ramaswamy, I don't know this person, in the bullpen on his criticism of progressive and the progressive movement? So I don't know this person, but you just put it out there in the universe, and all of the producers heard you put it out, all right? And we invite a lot of people to come on the show. So Ricky Raven, check your white privilege along with your luggage. Latif, AKA, is it Colossus Dragon? Nope, Dr. Rashad. There's a water shortage in Florida due to COVID cases on the rise. This female was likely groomed this way, born and bred. He said, don't blame that on the water in Florida. No, not going to stick. I am _Dragon. Seriously, how does this come up in art class? Right, okay. Dissident PM. To become the Karen, you must embrace your personal centricity. Nice. All right, good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, next story. Okay, there's a young man at a McDonald's. He's been there. He's waiting for his check for a few hours. He works there, and all of a sudden, police roll up and accuse him of being part of a crime. Here's the video.
He on the damn ground. You talking about, bro?
Lay down. Just lay down. Just lay down. Lay down. Stay, don't move. Do not move. Stay like that.
Yeah, please do. Stay right there. Oh my God.
What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all?
Bro. Everybody Bro. He didn't do bro. Nothing. They finna put him in the back of a police car. Oh, y'all hunkies. Y'all can go to hell. Oh, that's no. I'm not gonna shut the hell up because they gonna be bro.
When y'all realize this was all for no reason, what's going on? That's all. That's my one question.
He gonna sue him, and he better not do that.
All of that, bro. All of that. Just talking about somebody just robbed the building a couple minutes ago.
But he
been in this building for 2 hours though.
Ain't for the body show him. All this for what? For what though? Look at racist. Y'all need to stop being racist all the time. Y'all supposed to be protect and serve.
This happened in Grand Rapids. Now, let me help you understand. The people that are yelling, he's been in here for 2 hours. He works here. They are the managers and his co-workers. He was at that McDonald's for 2 hours waiting on his check. Now, some people may ask, well, why is he at McDonald's waiting on his check for 2 hours? Well, if you ever worked at a fast food restaurant like I have, you know that either A, the delivery had not showed up yet, or B, they have a protocol for when they can hand the check over based on the time protocol of that establishment. So he was waiting on his damn money. And as he's waiting on his hard-earned money at McDonald's, here comes the police. What you just saw was a snippet of a 7-minute video. The rest you can find on the Justice for Black Lives Organization's Instagram. You can find the whole video there. It was September 3rd, 22-year-old man who has now been identified as Isaiah by his mother, Michelle Butts on Facebook, had come to pick up his paycheck only to have what you just saw happen to him. According to TikTok activist Ally the Atheist, said in the video that Isaiah was stopped by police because he, and I quote, fit the description. Heard that before, right? Of a suspect in a robbery that was reported nearby. Okay, wait a minute. So here's the logic of all of these obviously amazing detectives. The guy commits robbery and he goes to McDonald's to wait on his paycheck. 2 hours, he's waiting nearby at the McDonald's for his paycheck. Despite the managers confirming his presence at work during the time of the robbery, literally showing them security footage, the Grand Rapids Police Department decided to hold him at gunpoint and arrest him, she said in the video. She added that he was made to stay in the jail overnight and charged with a misdemeanor and a felony. Remember, he is not the guy, okay? Court records show that warrants have been filed against this young man for attempting to resist and obstructing police and malicious destruction of fire or police property. What? Wait a minute, I thought y'all approached him for a robbery that took place in a nearby location. So here's what has happened here, ladies and gentlemen. They got the wrong guy. They heard, hey, you have the wrong guy. The manager showed them the footage and said, listen, it can't be this guy. He works for me. He's been here for 2 hours. He was not anywhere else. Here's the security footage. You got the wrong guy. Can you let him go? We got his paycheck now. He worked hard for this check. Can you let him go? We're showing you the video footage. No, we're not gonna let him go. We're gonna charge him with some BS. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna charge him with things that happened after we encountered him. Okay, that's what they did. So he stayed in jail overnight. You got the court records showing that he's been charged with multiple things. The property destruction charge is a 4-year felony charge. Now, just keep in mind, he now has a charge for a 4-year felony, okay? He is scheduled to be arraigned on Thursday at the Grand Rapids District Court and has been released from jail. This man now has a major felony charge on his record. He simply went to McDonald's to pick up his check that he had worked for. This pisses me off, okay? This is a hardworking young man. The system has showed him exactly what they think of his hard work. Anytime your hard work is contrary to their narrative, they will enforce their narrative against you. He did not commit robbery. He was not charged with robbery. He was not the person they were looking for. The person that they were looking for, he's probably free at large because you got these cops on the case, okay? Staff with the city's Office of Oversight and Public Accountability said Wednesday, September 8th, that they had received numerous complaints from concerned community members of the community about the September 3rd incident. They filed a complaint with the Police Internal Affairs Division. Good. Now, the GRPD, this is a statement released by the police, responded to a call of a burglary in progress at a neighboring building. While checking the area, officers observed a subject matching the suspect description. Contact was made and the subject was not cooperative, which resulted in arrest. The investigation is ongoing. I would not have been cooperative either. Approach me while I'm picking up my check, talking about I committed robbery. Who's gonna be cooperative with you? You're not cooperative with the logic around you. They're telling you this man has been here for 2 hours, showing you actual evidence, something you don't have. They got evidence, you have none. Okay, they released another statement saying, we understand that sometimes bystanders may be upset or concerned, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna read the whole statement. It's a stupid ass statement. Okay, Ben, we see what this is, brother. They realized this was the wrong person. They just figured we're gonna charge him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like, police officers come in with the expectation that you don't have any right to challenge what they say. And if you say they're wrong, that makes you a criminal, regardless as to anything else. And so there's countless stories of police officers going in and killing people and arresting people. And then they had included a destruction of police property in there, which 9 times out of 10 means like a police officer like scratched his pants when he was like,
right.
Trying to like arrest somebody. Like it's, and there's even instances where police officers have like accidentally like tasered themselves and then blamed it on the person they were trying to arrest, right? It seems the only relevant detail that they think is relevant, is somebody's skin color, right? That's it. They hear that somebody committed a burglary and they hear that they're black, and then that's the only detail they take and they run with it. They didn't even trust this person's like employer, right? Which usually is one of the things where you can say, look, my employer is hiring me. I was here. But they still didn't listen, and like this never would have happened if this man was white, right? This just doesn't happen to white people.
Never. Yeah, this absolutely would not have happened if the individual were white. And remember, they realized he was not the one. He was not the person who committed the robbery, and they continued to charge him anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday?
You're still free. Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African American man threatening my life.
Come outside! Oh! You will not come out!
I'm pointing.
I know.
Yeah, come outside. Come outside. Come outside. Come outside. Please, not scared to lose your yeah. Don't bitch. Don't bitch.
There you go.
You don't
There you go.
bitch.
There you go.
Come outside. Come
Come
outside. Come outside. Come outside. Hey, come. Bitch.
If Karens are like Highlander, where there can be only one, I will put my money on this one. Now, let me say this. Obviously, this is criminal activity. This is criminal behavior. There is no person at a restaurant who could make me that mad over a transaction. Why does anyone get that angry at someone working at a restaurant where maybe an order is wrong, maybe somebody has an attitude? It's part of life. But from wanting to argue to wanting to fight and then actually destroying their property, come on. The Karenicity is unreal here. Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I think this draws a perfect contrast to the last story, right? We have 2 people who are spending time in a fast food restaurant, one of them waiting for a paycheck, the other throwing a fit and destroying property. Which one is the one that got arrested?
Yeah.
You know, and like it's just really unbelievable. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like this really just speaks to the tension in America right now. Like I don't know. We're kind of at like a boiling point as a society, and we really need to like collectively cool down and like just treat each other with more patience and kindness, right?
Yeah.
I honestly think you should never expect somebody working at a fast food restaurant to be nice to you. To be honest, they're working minimum wage. That's a difficult, miserable job. And you should be happy with a hamburger, and that's it. You know,
you make a decent point, brother. And I tell my friends and those that are associates of mine all the time, when I go out to eat, and there's a tip jar, I leave a tip 100% of the time. I always tip high at restaurants, way over 20%. And the reason I do that, I don't care what the service was, by the way. I don't tip based on service. I tip based on principle because of what you just said, right? Brother, I appreciate your compliment or your sentiment on that, excuse me. We got more on the other side. Stick and stay.
You're about to watch watch some behind the scenes footage of the Young Turks.
Ooh.
Now, these are partial videos. If you want to get all of them, you become a member, go to tyt.com/join, and you'll get all the behind the scenes of me, Anna, John, JR, a little bit reality show like tyt.com/join, and enjoy this.
You know what you're seeing behind me? Jersey, hold. Watch me flip this camera. However I flip it. Do I flip it like this? No, I just took a picture. I'm bitsing right now.
What?
Behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. For members? I don't have my face on.
She doesn't have her face on, folks. Oh, that's JR's ass right there.
You can't take 5 minutes off, can you?
No, I can't, Johnny Pie. I said it was live stream, but I was lying. It's not a live stream. It's just for members. Bitsy, this is my cat. You know what his name is? Kiki Cat.
Animals are innocent.
Control room and the insanity is obviously there.
Right now, as you can see, I'm directing or tech directing.
I'm so happy to be here.
This is what like a Labor Day beard looks like for Jank. Man, you're a Young Turks viewer if you recognize me like this.
Such a big fan. Oh, thank you. You are the one person in my life I would love to meet.
What's going on, guys? This is a Bitsy or a BTS or behind the scenes with Hassan Piker, aka Woke Bay.
Oh, hi, I didn't see you there.
I have finished my show, The Damage Report, and now I get into a really awkward time of the day.
When I'm sitting, the control room is right there. So I can see Bart.
And this is the Pittsburgh office, by the way. Referred to often as the boiler room.
You see how it's ripped? Is it super unprofessional to wear that at a business meeting? Or am I like cool rebel?
I just finished doing the power panel and I'm fired up.
What do you do for TYT?
Not a whole lot.
If you're frantically tweeting at us that something's broken, thank you, because I'm fixing it.
And thank you for being a TYT member.
Super last thing, because there's always got to be a super last thing.
Oh, that was disastrous.
This has been behind the scenes, behind the scenes.
Welcome to Indisputable. I'm your host, Dr. Rashad Richard. We got a lot happening today. But what do we do on this show? We tell the truth. You know why we tell the truth? Because the truth is simply indisputable.
Rashad, great to be here. Congratulations on the new show. And I gotta let everybody know that Rashad and I go way back.
Here's the pattern that we see in all of these Karen stories. They think they own stuff they do not own. Now, where does that come from? I don't know, maybe slavery. Maybe they think they should still own black people.
This is what happens when Karens weaponize the police.
When you're used to privilege, equality seems like oppression.
It hits you in a certain way when someone is holding you against your will, treating you like you're a criminal and you're an innocent person. This is something that black people face no matter where they are.
A stronger black economy lends itself to a stronger, greater economy. Don't think it's exclusive of you, it's inclusive of you.
What's your beef with critical race theory?
It adds more fuel to the fire of the racist tendencies that we already have.
We have a generation of problem solvers that can remedy the problem if they are properly taught what the problem is.
You know who created redlining in this country? It was the white liberal.
I don't give a damn who created it. If it's a racist policy, Shelley, here's what I don't know. I don't know. See, there you go filibustering, brother. You're scared of this truth, but you're gonna get it though.
Climate is changing fundamentally, extremely, and non-linearly. It's becoming worse now. It's not when the levees burst that is the problem. It's in the anticipation of that.
So I hope every human being is safe. And by human beings, I do not include multinational corporations, especially the ones that started climate change in the first place.
What we're currently doing right now in cutting emissions is clearly not enough. There will be ramifications to what Trump is doing. I don't want people to suffer, but I feel like there's gonna be a lot of suffering because we have an imbecile as our leader.
We got a lot of comments, okay? TYT member, Mickey C, the silver-haired dragon. How horrendous is it that we can hear the fear in the voices of that man's co-workers? It's obvious that they're terrified he will be murdered by the cops. They were, you could hear it. Even after the cops know he couldn't be the criminal, I can't even imagine that level of fear for just being. That man woke up that morning, went to McDonald's. His check wasn't even ready. He didn't come back. Why did he come back? Maybe he doesn't have a car. Maybe he caught public transportation. Maybe he got a ride. Maybe he doesn't have gas money to keep going back and forth. But whatever it is, he was going to wait those hours in order to get his check. And this happens to him. Next TYT reporter says, usually the victim who calls the police doesn't try to cover for the perpetrator. When did that ever make sense in their heads? Super chat. Jesse Minor. Slave clause 1, accuse arrest under false pretense. 2, charged with resisting or other BS not associated with the stop. 3, prison slave. That is effed up. All right? R. King Juan Garcia. Did mine deceive me? It looks like she face punched the employee. Wow. Jason P. AKA Glory Days Dragon. I know that exact Jack in the Box. That neighborhood is a major Karen hotspot. That's info I did not know. Eco Star. I worked in retail. Know when check released or late always leads to people waiting at work for their check to be handed out. Happen all the time. Absolutely right. Bernard the Kiwi Dragon. Getting paid for work while black. Randy Collins. They just rushed me, put me in the back of a car with a big German Shepherd dog, and somebody had robbed the bank, and they blamed me and my classmate for it. Wow. Bonita Fleming. I love your show, Dr. Richie. Please keep doing what you're doing, exposing devils for who they are. May God keep blessing you to use your platform to help others. Thank you. I think this is Paralicia or Paralicia. My apologies if I said it wrong. Being confused while black is resisting, huh? Jesus. That's exactly what he was. He was just confused. Extremely confused. Okay. This one is a hell of a story. There's a guy that the police are so afraid of that when they caught him, they let him go. I'm not kidding you. Let me take you to this place in Vermont. Cops pull over a white suspect, put up his picture. They pulled over a white suspect who was under investigation for a hate crime, but allowed him to drive away because they were afraid of him. His name is Matthew Cagle. Police in Burlington, Vermont are searching for a 33-year-old Matthew Cagle who is wanted for assaulting a traffic guard and evading police. He was stopped shortly after the assault, but was allowed to drive away without ever getting out of his car. Put up his picture again. Okay. Now, the good old people at Burlington, Vermont PD, they did not provide pictures of the cops who were afraid to engage this white male. They didn't provide any pictures. We don't have any. But I do have the picture of the acting police chief. Let's put his picture up. That's your police chief currently. His name is John Murad. Now, here's what I'm going to do, Chief Murad. Anytime I do these stories and you all fail to produce the officers who are involved, I will put whoever is in charge up on my screen. That's how we're gonna do this. You wanna play that game? I got a game for you, all right? Let me give you background to this story. According to the report, Cagle refused to exit his vehicle. Now, when black people do that, what happens? So this guy refused to exit his vehicle after being told multiple times, you're under arrest. Now, this was not an investigation. They were literally pulling him over to lock him up, okay? They were trying to find out if something was going on. He was under arrest, according to the cops. They pull him over, tell him he's under arrest. This is on the police report. Officers did not pursue Cagle, once again on the police report. Why? Due to his unpredictable and violent history. On the police report, Cagle has a long history of encounters with police. He has a number of convictions, including felony charges and multiple offenses for violating court orders or parole. You mean to tell me that the police pull over a guy with a rap sheet long as Shaquille O'Neal. And they say, hey, you're under arrest. Get out the car. He tells them no, and he's allowed to pull off and leave them right there. They do not pursue him. They do not try to rip him out of the car. They don't even do that move they do. You know the move they do when they break your window? They don't do any of that. They just let him leave. They let him leave and they go to the police precinct and they file a report about how they let this person go. This is not the first time Cagle has been involved in a violent incident. He has 4 open court cases against him, according to the same police, including 1 for simple assault, 2 aggravated assaults, and 1 domestic assault charge from August 2020. In addition, Cagle is the subject of ongoing criminal investigations regarding a violation of a restraining order and is a person of interest in an August 30th assault. Put his picture back up. They let him go. They let him go. Once again, who's in charge of the police department that let him go? This guy, John Murat. There he is. It gets even deeper. The police report also details Cagle has an extensive criminal history. He has 54 law enforcement encounters since January 2021. Are you hearing me? This is on the damn police report, okay? He survived all of them and has previously been convicted on 2 felonies and 5 misdemeanors. Cagle allegedly threatened someone with a sledgehammer in July. He then beat a black man unconscious in Battery Park at the end of July. During the assault, Cagle made malicious, motivated statements of the victim's perceived race and color. Cagle was arrested after the attack, which has been investigated as a hate crime. Now, I want you to remember, he survived 54 adverse encounters with the police. He's currently under investigation for hate crimes. He beat up a black guy because he was black, according to the narrative, according to the report. I have to pose this question: is he being protected by the police? And they are just saying they are scared of him. Now, damn it, I'm gonna call it out here. Put up a picture of that chief again. Is it you, sir? Are you behind this? Seems suspect to me. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you have to think that the police officers want this to happen, that the police officers don't mind that he's running around assaulting black people, right? Because, I mean, let's make the comparison. Literally just a couple weeks ago, 10 miles from where I live, a young man, I think he was 19 years old, was literally murdered in his car, right? He was killed by police officers. And he got pulled over because he had like one of those dangly like air fresheners in his car, okay? He wasn't a dangerous person, right? He was just this young kid, right? That was just scared and didn't know what to do when he got pulled over, right? Like, and police kill him and they let this guy go because he's too dangerous. I mean, how many times do police officers use "I was afraid for my life" as justification to kill people who are running away? They get shot in the back all the time. I mean, even in Chicago, people who are getting in those car chases, police kill people in Chicago all the time with pit maneuvers.
Yep.
But for some reason, this man is exempt from that, even though he's getting pulled over twice a week.
Yeah, exactly. Do the math, right? A lot of times per year. Okay, black school principal in Texas. The first black principal in this particular school was suspended over critical race theory complaints. Now, let me give you a little context here. He first received controversy being the first black principal of this school. He was told to take down a picture of him kissing his wife. Put up that picture of him kissing his wife. Yep, they had a problem with that. Why do you think they had a problem with that in Texas? Okay, that was the first controversy. He was kissing his wife. He has a white wife. People said, you gotta take that down. First black principal of this school. His name is James Whitfield, first black principal to serve at Colleyville Heritage High School in Texas, all right? Whitefield was the subject, let me go back, it's Whitefield, was the subject of a heated school board meeting back in July, where he was called out by one parent in particular who felt that Whitefield promoted conspiracy theory of systemic racism and said it was grounds to be fired. Surprisingly enough, many other parents agreed and joined in with their own fire him. And then just by coincidence, he gets suspended. Now the school system is like, oh, no. This is totally unrelated to what happened at the school board. According to this principal, he says, and I quote, "I was not given any clear reason behind the decision. I was not given a timetable regarding further steps," Whitfield said in a Facebook message. "I was simply told that it was in the best interest of the district." Whitfield claims he actually didn't promote it at all. There's no credence of the CRT claims. And further adding, this group that has spoken out against me has a problem with inclusivity, with embracing diversity, and with providing equitable experiences for all students. School Superintendent Robin Ryan sent parents an email announcing Whitfield's suspension on Monday, but did not provide a reason. Well, here's your reason. Put up that picture again. There it is. They can't stand it. That's what it is. They told him that picture is controversial, take it down. The man never taught nor allowed for the teaching of critical race theory in that school system because it is not taught there. They lied on him and then fired him and called it a suspension. Ben, we got 1 minute, brother. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that picture is so benign. It literally looks like it could be on a billboard or like an advertisement, right? Like it's literally, it's a very wholesome picture that is honestly like just excellent photography. I mean, what's terrifying is the chanting, and every single one of those people chanting, they would call themselves not racist. I guarantee every single one of them would say, "No, I'm definitely not racist." This is terrifying. This is legitimately terrifying because is this going to increase? Is there going to be more people like this? I mean, ever since Trump, you've seen sort of a resurgence of these people that are emboldened to just be very publicly racist. And if the school board is willing to capitulate, what other people in positions of political power are willing to capitulate to racist mobs? And how do we get them out of office?
Very well said, brother. As always, I appreciate you being on Indisputable. Tell people how they can check you out.
Yeah, the best way is through Twitter. I'm just at Benjamin Carollo. If you search that anywhere, you're pretty much finding my content. I'm also gonna be doing Galaxy Brain tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central Time. That's 4 o'clock Eastern. I think that's 2 p.m. Pacific. And yeah.
Brother, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got more. It's Indisputable. Stick and stay.
I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken when I first got my license, like 17 years old or 17, 18, whatever it was. And I'm driving, I think my dad's Oldsmobile, and I parked it in a place where there was 2 cars next to me, really tight spot, and a car behind me. I don't even know how I got in there because I'm a terrible driver. Back then I was an even worse driver. And on the roads I'm okay, but in parking spots I have terrible spatial reasoning and I'm a mess. And on my way out, I hit all 3 cars at once. I broke all records, okay? So I went, as I'm backing out, I went boom, oh and this side hit that car, this side hit this car, and the back hit the 3rd car, okay? And I got stuck. I didn't know how to get out. Like I went, okay, for this, and then I'm like, no, and then, right? And then finally I had to stop, go inside the KFC and go, I'm sorry, I hit a bunch of your cars. They're like, what do you mean a bunch of your cars? I'm like, I don't know.
Wow, there's a B?
Yeah, I'm like this, I hit 3 cars, I don't know. So you guys gotta come help me, okay? Okay, so 1, my bad, really sorry about that. Okay, number 2, can someone take my car out? Because I don't wanna keep hitting your cars and I'm incapable of taking it out of this spot.
Now baby, move that fat, baby, move that fat.
Hi, I'm Brett Ehrlich with breaking news with Brett Ehrlich. This is breaking news with Brett Ehrlich. Hi, Brett Ehrlich here. According to EPA head Scott Pruitt, climate change is not happening. He cited a meme on Facebook he saw. When pressed to back up this source, he said it must be accurate because the watermark said it was made by a scientist. So, your move, Truth.
Do all of you know the Young Turks?
An outlet like yourself that are willing to cover this story from the very beginning and that weren't afraid to say, hey, this is something that is legitimate.
And this is why what Cenk and the Young Turks are doing is so important.
Brent Welder is a very progressive Democrat. He's a just Democrat. In fact, uncorrupted, not going to take big corporate PAC money. When did you start watching the show and when did you become a member?
So I've been watching for 10 years, an active viewer, but also more importantly, getting out there with causes like Wolfpack.
By the end of our campaign, we had organized about 22,000 individual contributions with an average about $27 a piece. And those initial people were a lot of TYT supporters as well.
In looking at the world in a very different way than corporate media does.
It takes those early people who believe that can really be the seeds of this movement, and that has been the Young Turks.
Thank you, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks.
Thank you to TYT and all the progressives around the country that have our backs.
You know, the first and only interviews that we had tonight to be with the Young Turks as well, because you guys have been here from the very beginning, and that's what this night is all about.
And I thank Cenk very much for the very good work that he does.
Thank you so much for all in this together, and the people are so powerful, and we're gonna get it done.
Thank you for your constant support.
It's a pleasure to be with rebels. I like that.
For all of the help that you've given to the Just Democrats, to Wolfpack, to help fellow progressives, thank you guys, to all the Young Turks members that make it possible.
Hey, this is Edwin. Most of you might recognize me, well, not me, mostly my laugh from the main show.
I mean, it's gonna be hard to get the Uygur maneuver on him.
And today, my talent is Rubik's Cubes. You gotta forgive me, it's been at least 5 years since I competed. So that's why I'm actually going pretty slow. Watch this.
Welcome back. We got a lot of comments. Before I read these comments, let me remind you, all right? If you're watching Indisputable on the Damage Report on their YouTube channel, you gotta make sure to make the switch, because come September 13th, we will not simulcast there. Join Indisputable TYT on YouTube, real simple, real easy, youtube.com/Indisputable TYT. All right, we're at 198,000 subscribers. We will be at 200,000, hopefully by the end of Saturday, okay? All right, also watch the conversation today live, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Also go to tyt.com/live, that's before the Young Turks, okay? Also, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, get all of those interviews there, remarkable interviews, youtube.com/TYT conversation. And right after Indisputable today, my sis, Ray Actions with Rayvana, Thursdays, always Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific time. That is exclusive to Twitch, twitch.tv/TYT. All right, let's look at these comments. TYT member, just be anti-racist. Please tell me why this guy didn't murder somebody. I remember this guy and has said if he gets away with this, he will escalate, and the potential for a mass murder is a reality. Mickey C, the silver-haired dragon. How does someone have 54 crimes and is still on the streets? Now remember, Mickey, 54 adverse encounters with law enforcement. He has way more crimes, but that's just law enforcement. He's been proven to be violent over and over, and he's allowed to continue his violence. And the thing is, they let him go. They pulled him over and the cops said, we were afraid of him, we let him go. I'm paraphrasing the police report. YouTube super chat. Is this Izzy Roberts? Much love from the UK, keep fighting the good fight. If you tremble with the indignation at every injustice, you are a true comrade of mine. Yeah. And we got a lot of them. I'm gonna try to get to as many as I can. Thank you, the Progressive Carpenter. Thank you, Crumble 104. Progressive Carpenter, why in the hell didn't the cops pull a pit maneuver on Cagle like they did with the pregnant woman who was speeding? They flipped her car over. Yeah, we reported on that. Car flipped, SUV flipped completely over. Good point. King T, today was a very hard show for me, Doc. A white guy with over 54 encounters gets to leave while a young black man picking up his check gets racially profiled, booked, and railroaded just for being black. Yeah, he fit the description. Twitch, RC_Tycoon13. These parents may need to go back to school with their children. No, that's the last thing we need right now. They're already swinging at the school board, okay? We don't need that. All right, bread into toast. I heard about this, the whole thing is repugnant, bunch of freaking Karens. Yeah, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bullpen. He's back. I gotta give this brother a 10 for effort. We have, once again, Joe Collins III, California congressional candidate. He is a Republican running against Maxine Waters. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm extremely blessed. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite well. You are here actually to debate and promote why Larry Elder would be the best governor for California. Now, let me ask you this, brother. Did Larry put you up to this?
No, Larry didn't put me up to it. I think if they had to choose somebody to promote or say if Larry Elder was the best candidate, they probably would have picked somebody else. I'm gonna try to bring the most non-biased opinion that I can. And the reason why is because I have my own personal biases against Larry Elder for personal comments he made about myself. So we can get to it though. Let's make it happen.
All right, so that's quite interesting. So I don't want to presume to know what you believe about Larry Elder or why a Republican is best fit to be governor of California. So if you would, what are some of the positives, in your opinion, that stick out about Larry Elder becoming governor of California?
Well, I think, the most notable one is if he does make it, he will be the first black governor of California in the history of California. I think that's a.
Wait a minute, brother. Hold on, wait. Larry Elder's black? Yeah, you even have to laugh at that. Yeah, go ahead, brother. Continue.
It's funny because I saw a meme and it was from, Larry Elder in school, and they say, "Hey, look, it's Larry Elder blackfacing," and I cried laughing for a couple of minutes. But he would be the first black governor, regardless if he's Democrat or Republican. I think that's one of the positives. Another thing is he got cojones. You got to run in a heavy Democrat district against a Democrat powerhouse. $40 million on a book before the re-election campaign even started for this recall. Another thing is, he's popular among conservatives, and I know that doesn't say much because California is a heavy Democrat state, but he is popular amongst conservatives. I would prefer that he get out in front of hostile environments and be able to try and connect with people on a level that they can understand with that are not conservatives. But those are the positives that I see.
All right. So here's the thing. I'm a policy guy. And since I'm a policy guy, I really don't give a damn that Larry Elder is black. If you represent a policy agenda that is adversarial to the communities that I love and support and that have loved and supported me, I could care less about the fact that the man is a black man. I don't care. He represents a policy agenda that's antithetical to what I believe will progress the black community. And let me also say this about Larry Elder. And by the way, if you run into him, tell him to stop ducking and dodging me, okay? If you run into him. Larry Elder has said, and these things are problematic because he has never reconciled these quotes, talking about the glass ceiling. Now you agree, brother, because you and I have had common sense conversations. You agree that women in the workplace, they have had it difficult. They have been biased against. They have had to work harder in order to get similar promotions and sometimes not at all. We already know the pay inequity is a reality based on statistical studies today. So we know this, the glass ceiling is real. Do you agree to that? That there is a glass ceiling of sorts in corporate America as it relates to women and other historically marginalized groups, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Here's what Larry said. Larry said, what glass ceiling? Women exaggerate the problem of sexism. That's what he said. This man would be in a position of policy authority to remedy a problem that he says, contrary to all data and facts, he says doesn't exist.
Yeah, he said that, and there's no disputing it. We all know that women in the workplace, in America in general, have it harder than anybody else, and that goes beyond your race. I mean, just women in general have it really hard. Those glass ceilings are being broken, but I mean, like, how much does women have to struggle in order to be on the same equal playing field as the men? And that takes me back to women's suffrage, and they're fighting for women's rights, fighting for equality, fight just the right to vote, which happened not even 56 years ago. And so, yeah, it's a problem.
It's a huge problem, and I get it. He's a talk radio guy, which means he talks a lot. So obviously he's going to say something on record that people would disagree with. But he's saying things on record that even Republicans disagree with. Okay, so I'm trying to find out what is the mystique of a Larry Elder becoming governor of governor of California, and even with the hardcore Democratic population inside of the Republican Party in California, the guy is still very popular. Why is that?
Well, I'll tell you this. I ran against Maxine Waters in 2020, and one thing that I found out is the conservative Republican party and the movement think that if you're popular amongst those groups, then you're popular everywhere else. And that's not the case. That has not ever been the case. I think that when you talk about popularity, yes, he got a lot of excitement because he is popular. He is a radio show host. He's from South Central Los Angeles. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, unless you crossing those boundaries and crossing those lines to engage with other people, that type of campaign isn't going to work. I mean, like if we talk about if Larry Elder is the best fit for governor, I can't even honestly tell you that he is or isn't because I don't have anything to compare it to. He has never held the office position. There are a lot of great candidates who are running. You have, Kevin Faulconer, who is the former mayor of San Diego. You have Kevin Kiley, who is now an assemblyman running for governor as well. But because this guy is popular, everybody is on the Larry Elder train.
So let me say this, brother, because I'm looking at the production notes that my producer sent to you, and it says topic that you want to discuss: why is Larry Elder the right Republican candidate for the California recall election? But it sounds like you're telling us that he is not the right candidate.
I'm not saying that he's the right candidate. I'm not saying he isn't the right candidate. What I'm saying is you have a lot of candidates that have more experience running a city than he does. He doesn't have any legislative experience. And I think the biggest issue that people are missing right now is, say I say he is, right? He wins the governorship, but we still have a conglomerate of Democrats. So he can be a Republican governor and still can't get anything done because we don't have enough Republicans in office in California, whether it be the local level or the federal level, to get any type of legislation passed. They will veto everything that he does. You have to be that candidate that is willing to work with Democrats, Republicans, and independents together to create the type of environment where you can get some type of positive policy passed. And I think another issue that we have is, throughout every single candidate that I have ever seen, everybody is talking about what bad of a job Gavin Newsom is doing, but nobody is ever talking about what they're going to do to correct it. Everybody says, well, homeless, he let all the homeless, he let illegal immigrants, yada, yada, yada. But that's not lowering the cost of living. I mean, taxes is high. We do have an influx of immigrants coming over illegally. We do have people leaving California. We do have a lot of jobs closing. We do have the cost of living rising, but nobody's addressing the real issue that's going to help people in California. So,
all right, man, it's just really interesting because we were under the impression that you were a hardcore Larry Elder guy. So maybe you know this question. Maybe you know the answer to this. Why is Larry Elder scared of me?
You know what? Let me tell you this. Whoever told you I was a hardcore Larry Elder guy, they probably got it messed up. My campaign, we supported the recall movement. We supported almost every single movement, and we don't get any credit. We supported everything from the reopen California to the recall of Gavin Newsom. Whoever is going to be that person to replace Gavin Newsom, that's up to the people. And I don't want my own personal biases to get in the way of the people being able to vote because of what the issues between Larry Elder and Joe Collins. But I can tell you this, the reason why Larry Elder may be afraid of you is because, let me tell you, this is our third conversation. The first one was great. The second one, we had some issues. And so now we're talking about Larry Elder. I mean, when you talk about somebody who's educated, another educated black man, we talk about somebody who has their facts and has their things together. It's really hard to have an educated conversation when you're working off emotions versus somebody who has their entire facts. And a lot of times, during this recall election, people are 100% running off emotions, but they're not talking about the facts. They're not talking about the underlying issues. We could talk about, anything. We could talk about illegal immigrants. We can talk about all of these things that it's not going to help people pay their bills.
Well, brother, I got to say this. You're not scared. You have come on this program multiple times. And we have discussed a plethora of political items right here on this show. When I look at Larry Elder's Twitter feed, because that's basically how he communicates with the world, he's not talking about hardcore policy items germane to California. It's almost as if he's taking quotes he said on radio and putting them on Twitter and trying to rebrand them as part of his campaign. Now, he's running a campaign in a silo, right? It's all people that support Larry Elder, but they've always supported Larry Elder. He's not creating coalitions. He's not building bridges. He's not even saying things that are common sense. He's playing to a red meat base. Now, I know one thing about you, brother. You say some things that make common sense. Now, I don't agree with all of your politics, obviously. I don't agree with many of your policy agenda items. And I also think that you are neutral in areas where you should not be. But you actually have some policy agenda items. You actually talk about things that are connected to legislative processes. Larry Elder is not. So I'm going to jump off the Larry Elder thing and talk about your thing. So even though I wasn't going to debate you on this, man, I am aware that you filed a lawsuit against Maxine Waters for defamation against her campaign for defamation. And you got a snippet of a victory. It was a judge saying, hey, the other side didn't do something, you can move forward with the case. Give us some highlight to that, man. Why are you suing Auntie Maxine, man?
Well, we ran a hard-fought race, and I have a lot of respect for Maxine Waters, and I'll tell you the reason why I ended up in this race was because of a lot of personal issues between Maxine and myself whenever I got out of the military. But when it comes to the lawsuit, I mean, talk about me, talk about my family, my background. But when you talk about military service, that's when I draw the line. Now, she ran millions of dollars of advertising saying I was dishonorably discharged, which was false. And she got her information from an opinion of a judge. He got his opinion incorrect because we've never put my DD-214 on the record. I was a homeless veteran sleeping on the streets. I was actually going to Maxine to try and get help. And, she did what she did. It's politics. I understand it's a dirty game, but for the sacrifice that I've made, Operation Iraqi Freedom, serving boots on the ground, I didn't take too kindly to anybody saying I was dishonorably discharged. Okay. So we did file a defamation lawsuit, and it's a bit back and forth. We won the first part of the lawsuit, which allowed the lawsuit to go to the judge in state court. She won the second part of the lawsuit, which the judge says that she couldn't, unfortunately find anything wrong, but she didn't kick the case. So now we are in the Court of Appeals, and we'll see what happens there. At the end of the day, I'm going to respect whatever the judge's decision is, and we're going to move forward amicably. I think during this first run, I learned a lot of growth when it came to running for a congressional seat. A lot of growth and understanding the dynamics of politics, and also respecting your opponent. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that I'm going to take from the 2020 and put into 2022.
All right, so. Brother, I'm telling you this because I love you. They're going to kick your case out.
It's a possibility.
Brother, no, brother. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Your attorneys have already told you this, I'm sure. Your case is going to get kicked out. But maybe you sent a warning shot to others when it comes to political campaigning. Because really, you can say whatever you want to say almost in political campaigns, and that's based on statute and settled case law. You right now, because you and I had this discussion before, we only got a few minutes. You right now are Republican. Joe, I don't know why you're a Republican, sir. Now listen, man, I really want you to consider this, okay? Because when you look at policy to policy, right? Only Democratic presidents in modern history, we're talking about since World War II, only Democratic presidents have overseen the largest increase in GDP, the largest increase in private job sectors, increasing in America. Only Democratic presidents. If your issue is you're a Republican because of a moral issue as it relates to abortion, okay, that's an argument, right? But only Democrats have overseen decreases in abortion rates in America, while Republicans, even if they are proclaiming to be pro-life, abortions in America increase under their leadership. Almost every policy variable that you and I have discussed and debated, progressives, those on the left, have been able to deliver that agenda better than the team you're a part of. So why are you still a Republican?
Well, like I said before, I'm a Republican because the history of the Republican Party. The first black man to get into politics were Republican, and coming from where I come from, we have a conglomerate of Democrats and, you have Republicans on the other side. And for me, I think that when you talk specifically about the black community, we're going to need allies on both sides to be able to push whatever agenda is going to best benefit our community and America. And I think that's the line I fall on. Sometimes it's unpopular, sometimes it is. But I think at the end of the day, as long as we're doing what's best for the people, that political party preference will remain exactly what it is. And that's just the preference.
All right, Joe. Listen, man, I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate you always coming on the bullpen. But I got to tell you, brother, you keep talking as if you got some common sense. They're going to kick you out of the Republican Party. And listen, when that happens, brother, I'm telling the truth. When that happens, brother, give me a call and we can have that conversation. All right, Joe?
I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you, man. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.